Hello, gremlins. Welcome back. My name is Chelsea. I'm a yoga instructor, yada, yada, yada. This is Yoga for Gremlins. If you are here, you are a gremlin. Welcome. We are on the floor today. We're going to be doing some hip openers. If you are someone who is a super compassionate person, a super empathetic person, you're highly sensitive, or you're an organizer, or you're an activist, or you're an artist, Yoga for Gremlins is for you. Sometimes we need that gremlin time. So that is what we're doing here on the floor. We're going to get into some hip openers and hopefully release some of the big feelings that we're feeling. So if you need to pause and be weepy, or pause this and come back to it, or you're just not in a safe space right now to do yoga on the floor, save this for later. So we're going to start in Baddha Konasana. I'm going to take my knees out wide and the soles of my feet together. If you're feeling any tension in your hips that is just maybe painful or maybe too much, you can take some props underneath your knees. So I like to put a block kind of where my thigh is so that my knees are suspended. And take this book on the other side. It's about the same height because I'm on 2 blocks. Bing! Magical. I'm going to ask you to sit up tall, whether you have blocks or not. And just breathe. Okay. We're going to breathe like loud little weirdos. Big inhale through your nose. Big exhale, open mouth. Inhale again through your nose. Exhale, open mouth. All right. You have an option here to tuck your chin. Maybe let your spine round. You can look down at your feet. Or if you have the range of motion, maybe you walk your hands forward, come to resting on your elbows, and then let your head fall forward. You can play with the distance of your feet from your pelvic bone. So if you have your feet maybe closer to your pelvic bone, you might feel more intensity around your hip flexors. If you were to push your feet away from your hips bone, if you were to push your feet away from your hip bones, away from your hip bones, you might feel more of a stretch on the external sides of your legs. Either way, all good. Maybe find a forward fold. Maybe sit upright with your chin tucked. And breathe in and out of your nose. That's it. Sit here, whichever posture makes you feel most supported, and breathe. All right. From here, we're going to take half butterfly on the other side. I'm going to extend my right leg, taking the block away. I'm going to keep the book under my left knee, just for support here. If you would prefer not to have support there, or you don't have a block or a book, no problem, is fine. As long as you're not feeling any discomfort that is unsustainable. From here, you're going to turn over your leg and just fold forward. You don't have to extend the spine here. If you'd like to, you can. If you are going to extend the spine, take your fingers and interlace them around your foot. Now, if your knee bends, great. Keep your knee bent. Interlace your fingers around your foot, reach your chest forward, and then let your spine round, let your head be heavy. Otherwise, you can just take your hands down to the floor and let your spine round. Or tuck your chin. And when you're ready, slowly release. You can hold these poses for as long as you want to. Maybe even pause the video if something feels good to you. You can take this at your own pace. I'm going to take the same posture on the other side. From here, same thing. You can reach up if you'd like to get that full extension, and then turn over your leg and fold forward. Bend your knee as much as you need to get a little grip around your feet. Or just let your hands come down and let your spine round and let your chin tuck in. Remember, you can always pause this and hold that pose for as long as you need to. This takes us into a wide-legged forward fold, but we can take this a couple of different ways. So, first option is to sit on the floor like this, with your legs out in front of you. And then I'm going to take our book and our block, and I'm going to put them underneath my elbows as I fold forward. This is fantastic. Let your toes come out wide so you get some like external rotation of the thigh bone here. And you can breathe, pause here like this. Or if you're feeling like you want to get a deeper stretch, move the blocks away and walk your hands forward, crawl forward. Find a little bit more length through the spine, and then you can let this posture kind of unfold over time. You can be here for like a minute or so, whatever feels okay to you. And you might start to feel some release through the hamstrings as well as more flexion through the hip. Here's another version of this posture. I am going to use the wall. Using the wall, you might be able to get a little bit more distance between your 2 feet. And then use the wall to stabilize yourself. Maybe put your hands on the wall. Using the wall can help stabilize that external rotation in the legs and help this posture deepen over time. Of course, it doesn't matter how deep the posture is. What matters is the support you need in the posture, the structure of the posture, what it feels like. So just meaning that just because you can fold all the way forward doesn't make the posture any better than anyone who can't go that far. Okay, I'm going to get into a posture on the back called bridge pose. And for bridge pose, I am really going to heavy suggest a block or a book. A big, thick one. Comparable. So for bridge pose, you're going to lay on your back with your knees bent and your feet on the floor. Yoga for gremlins, make faces. It's let it out, honestly. Grab your block. This is a block, or grab your book, your big, thick, sexy book. And then you're gonna lift your hips and slide your block underneath your sacrum bone, which is a triangle-like shaped bone at the base of your spine. And then separate your feet, maybe hips with a distance. And then chill for a little bit. Put your hands on your stomach or like on the floor in front of you and just close your eyes and just let your low spine melt into this prop, into the block or book, whatever you have. This posture is so good if you're experiencing low back pain. And it's a really simple posture. And if you have just a thick book, this is great after a work day. If you are sitting a lot, if you're standing a lot, let the ground carry some of that weight. Okay. So we're going to go from our back to sitting back up. Take your time. When you find your seat, take your legs long in front of you. You're going to find some more release through the low back here. Interlace your fingers in front of you. Press your wrist forward and then reach your arms up overhead. Biceps by your ears as much as they can be and relax your shoulders. Sit up and fold forward over your legs. You can let your hands drop or you can grab for your feet, bend your knees as much as you need to. Send your heart forward and fold forward. Honestly, it's like very frowned upon to make weird little sounds. So, neurodivergent baddies out there, if in yoga, when you're at home, you make weird little sounds, let it out. Like, honestly, we should change the culture because where else can we just go and stretch and together, right? Anyway, but for your home practice sake, let it out. Make weird little sounds. Your weird little gremlin folded in half on your floor. It's okay. Our next posture is going to also require your block or book. We're going to get into a deep squat called Malasana. Now, you can take your block or your book in front of you. You can sit on your block or your book and take your feet and your knees out wide and your palms together, pushing your knees outward with your elbows. And this posture feels really good supported, again, because you're kind of just letting gravity do its thing. You can keep your heart lifted. Try not to round to the shoulders or hunch. See if you can keep pulling your shoulders back as you press your knees back again, getting into those hips. Keep breathing. As you're pressing your hands together, I want you to look at the shape of your hands. These hand gestures are called mudras. And this particular mudra is really beautiful and very common in yoga practices. We do it quite often, and it's called Anjali Mudra. And it has such a beautiful meaning that is so representative of the whole of yoga, and that is this concept of non-duality. These opposing forces, left and right. I don't know the difference between my left and my right. Leave me alone. Coming together in the compassionate center of the heart. So it's opposites like left and right, up and down, the sun and the moon, me and you, seemingly disparate forces coming together in the compassionate space of the heart. And so I just love to remember that when I'm in this posture, of opening through the hips and opening through the chest and using oppositional force to keep that shape. It's just so reminiscent of how much we need everything to be in balance. And there's a constant push and pull for what balance is and what balance means. And you can feel that in your body, but that could also resonate in your life outside of the yoga mat or your floor. And that's kind of the lesson of yoga as we take these shapes. They're good for your body. They're good for your muscles and your joints. They're helpful for longevity. They're helpful for just calming the body, digestion, all of these things. But psychologically, energetically, it's a constant reminder that everything is connected. And that there is this beautiful spectrum, this space in between the extremes that is often overlooked. And so I want my yoga practice to celebrate that, and I hope maybe that resonates with you. If it doesn't, what am I going to do? That got intense. We're gonna do a forward fold, and we're gonna shake all of that out. Take your hands to the floor, put some weight into your hands, and if you can't put weight into your hands, it's okay. You're just going to try and stand up, lifting your hips up towards the ceiling. Let your body come over your legs, just forward folding here. You can even take a couple steps back and put your blocks or your bolsters underneath your hands, so that you're folding forward and your knees can bend here, your stomach can come down to your thighs, and just let your head drop. Shake it out. Shake it out. And if you'd like to, you can straighten your legs. You can bend your knees a couple times. You can sway if you want to. Maybe take one arm up towards the ceiling and bend the opposite knee. And then bend the other knee and take the other arm up. It's up to you. Just take a couple of breaths here, finding some free movement, finding some release. And I'll meet you back on the floor. You know, I'm so bad at drinking water. I'm really, really, really bad at it. I'm really bad at it, but this is my emotional safety bottle. This is my baby bottle that I made a sling for. Anyway, yay, drink your water is the point of that. Okay. So our next pose is going to be child's pose, balasana. You're going to take a pillow, separate your knees, and put this pillow right in between. And then you can fold your body forward. If you need more support, take your block, put it underneath your head, whatever height it needs to be. Feel free to take a little moment to we're anti-violence in this space, but sometimes we need to get a little aggression out. We're gremlins. We do be aggressive. So, just have a little moment with yourself. And then just fold forward into balasana, the child's pose. I'm going to rest my head under a block and breathe. I recommend taking a good long 10 breaths in child's pose. And then we're going to come forward into a little back bend. We'll call that cobra pose. Take your hands down to the mat and then lower your chest forward. As you lower your chest forward, drag your fingertips back until your elbows lift off the mat. Keep your eyes forward, squeeze your legs together behind you. I know you can't see my legs, that's fine. Lift your chest, look up. So you're peeling your chest away from the mat. It doesn't have to go high. Think like little tiny baby cobras. Oh, sweet, small baby cobras. Draw your scapula behind you. Keep lifting your chest, kicking your feet down. Just engage your legs and kick them down. This one you don't have to hold very long at all. 1 or 2 breaths. And then on your next exhale, let it release. So from cobra pose, we're going to one of my favorite postures, napping baby. Make a little pillow with your arms and take one of your knees out to the side. Your knee should be about parallel to your hip. And from here, just rest your head. Let your neck be soft, let your head be heavy. And this is a restorative hip opener, just supported again by gravity. You might bring your awareness to the breath in your body, in the front side of your body. Taking really deep, slow breaths. And then when you're ready, do it on the other side. Take your leg long behind you and draw your other knee out to the side. And again, a little pillow with your arms. Take your eyes to the same direction as your extended knee. You can think about what Savasana might look like for you here. You can lay on your back or you can lay on your stomach. Support yourself with your arms. Maybe leave your arms out wide. Take up as much space as you need. You could also just take Savasana by sitting in a meditative posture, something that either doesn't need a lot of support or you can sit your back against a wall. This is kind of one of the more magical parts of a yoga practice, because after you've done all of that and focused on your breath, you've made these different shapes, you've considered the options, the supports you can use, and then staying in those postures and witnessing those sensations that arise in the areas, the places of the body that we're meant to be targeting. And noticing even how from side to side, those postures might not feel the same, because we are asymmetrical beings, and that's perfectly fine. And so when you're in Savasana, as long as you're connecting to a sense of restfulness, supported rest, a shape that you can allow yourself to just be in. And then it comes to the purpose of yoga, the stilling of the mind, the stilling of the fluctuations of the mind. The mind do be fluctuating, from memories to plans to lists to fears to that song you have on repeat in your head. Yeah, the mind do be fluctuating. And hopefully, after a yoga practice that feels nourishing to you, those last couple of minutes can be a moment of witnessing less fluctuation, more peace. The sad thing is that it's temporary. But everything is temporary, so thankfully with a yoga practice that works for you, you can keep coming back to that sense of peace. I'm going to sit here and meditate for a bit, and I hope you take as much time as you need in your savasana, and then go about your weird little day. Go eat some cheese if you can process cheese. Put your pajamas back on. Go take a bath. Get some rest.